Come here, son, nephew, young man. Let me holler at you. People sometimes, especially in modern times, truly underappreciate, underestimate, and don't take into account what men go through. Society doesn't respect you if you don't perform. Nobody wants to hear excuses. Nobody's going to save you. I want you to think about something. When have you seen a homeless shelter take men in on a long-term basis? Women and kids, they'll take them in darn near immediately. Man, if you haven't done what you're supposed to, go ahead and get up under that bridge, partner, and hope you're going to survive until the next day. Hopefully you don't end up like my homeless uncle who got killed by a neo-Nazi serial killer. Or hope you don't freeze overnight, or whatever the case may be. When you're a man, when they say a man's got to do what a man's got to do, they literally mean that. That's a classic expression, and it's true. So whether or not you can pay your bills, which is why I keep telling y'all, get your skills up. Have more than one way to make money, because nobody cares what you're going through. Now, one exception is going to be your children. They're going to love you no matter what, if you're in their life and if you've always shown yourself to be positive. Now, that can get muddied if you're in a situation where you can't see them or you're being prevented from seeing them. And I think we know how a lot of those situations play out. But when I talked about how my father was, or how we had this argument a couple of weeks before he died, and when I finally decided to be back on speaking terms with him, or to try to reestablish contact with him, even though we were living in the same household, same roof, we just weren't speaking. I wasn't speaking to him as if I had the authority. Yeah, I shouldn't even been in that mindset anyway, because this is who's been paying the bills for me and putting food in my mouth from day one. But I figured he talked to me in a way I didn't want to be talked to, and I wasn't going to speak to him. And when I decided to start speaking again, that was the last day I saw my father. But he was going through some personal things, which were a result of some mistakes he made as a man. However, knowing now what I know now, had I understood it then, I would have just said, Dad, it's okay. I'm a lot more open with my son now because I went through that. Because, see, my dad wasn't telling me everything that was going on. I guess he figured that it wasn't information that a young man needed to know at that age, at 15 years old. But for that reason, I share some more things with my son now so he can understand more what the world is like as he gets older, because I want him to be successful. I want the best for him, and I want to understand, especially since the world is changing and has changed much since I was a kid. When you young men out there, first of all, if you got your dad in your life, it's a blessing. It's a 100% pure blessing. Even if you figure he's a non-example of what to do, okay, well then you saw what not to do. You can do the opposite, but the Bible tells you to honor your mother and father for a reason. And I also made that video about hearing your father's side of the story for a reason. Check it out and take that into consideration if you have issues with your father, because a lot of times you don't know the whole story. That being said, men go through a lot. Now, if you're a man and you have children, try your best to take your issues and keep them separate from your children. And if you got a good woman or a good wife, stop and think, okay, Maybe she's asking a lot of questions because she's just trying to help me. I was a kid too. So let me take it easy on my kid unless I just have to take it to another level. As a communicator, maybe I didn't do the best job of communicating. Let me see if I can reissue or recommunicate my thoughts and my structure. Or maybe I didn't structure a situation correctly. But don't take your anger out on your kids and on your woman if she's a good woman. And if she ain't a good woman, then you just don't need to be with her. You still don't take your anger out on other people. But if you're a son, yes, it is wrong for someone to take their anger out on you, but it does happen. But understand, men go through a lot. We're under a lot of pressure to perform regardless of the circumstances. We're in a free market economy where there are going to be winners and there are going to be losers. That's why I tell men, be winners. Get your money right. Get your skills right. Get your rest. Get in the gym. Be a winner in every area that you can. It just makes life easier for you and the people around you. You want your child to look at you like that's my hero. You want your woman to be like, let me work hard to keep this man because other women want him. It's true. It just is what it is. You have to compete as a man. Ain't no way around it. And if you're a son, understand that your father's under heavy competition to compete. And then understand this too. You reap what you sow. So if you're being unforgiving to your dad and you decide to have kids one day, what if your child is that way to you when you learn what life is like? Look at it from both perspectives. Be a thinking man, be a rational man, be a calm, cool, and collected man. Sons, your fathers are human. Dads, your sons are human. We need to restore order where men can be men. And while society won't do that, men, you put yourself in places where you can be men. You need to be the only man in your household, and anybody you let into it needs to understand that. Maintain your order and structure. Don't bring in people or things that will disrupt your order and structure, because order and structure brings peace and success and longevity. That's how you build a legacy that helps to minimize situations where there's struggle and strife within your household. Is life going to be perfect? No. But try to make that environment where you don't have to feel that way, where you don't have to have so much pressure. You can wait until you have kids. Right now, I would say, unless you're dealing with a female who's been with you from day one and loved you when you didn't have anything after that, man, you can delay marriage as long as you need to, and you can have kids when you're well prepared. And you can enter into what's called a private marriage contract where you can do it on your terms if that's what you're going to do. Don't put yourself in situations where you're at disadvantages, because then you end up with these situations that end up harming your kids mentally and physically. Get your mind right and your finances right before you have children. Try not to have accidental babies. I mean, if you have them, that's a blessing, thank God. But look, we're the ones who are supposed to be planning and making foundations. We shouldn't just be throwing babies out here at random. Now we're scrambling to understand what to do with them. Plan your life first so you can plan the kids' life. There's no easy answers for this situation. Men are going to go through a lot, and boys, you got to go through things to become men, but just understand, you don't want to wait until you've become a man to realize this ain't as easy as I thought. Listen to your fathers. If you don't have your father, find positive male role models who can help mold you and guide you into manhood. A person needs to know what something is like and have great experience before they can tell you what it's like. So if you're not qualified to teach on manhood, or you're dealing with people who are not qualified to teach you how to be a man, find someone who is qualified and learn. And most importantly, listen, be coachable. And as always, never lose the will to win and never lose the will to survive.